Kia ora everyone. As many of you will be aware, the COVID protection framework, also known as the traffic light system, will come into force on Friday, December the 3rd, 2021. Over recent weeks, the government has announced that as a country we'll be moving from the alert level system that we have been operating under since March 2020 to another approach of managing COVID-19 within a highly vaccinated population. In their words, the new framework allows people to be freer to move and live without disruption while offering stability for businesses to plan for the future. We realise that not everyone will agree with how the government is handling this matter. For some, the situation is particularly contentious and disheartening. However, it needs to be said that the purpose of this communication is not to express a personal opinion about the decision-making of government. Rather, its intent is to outline how we, as a core, as a church, can respond and operate under the new COVID protection framework. Now, just to clarify at the start, what we're about to share relates to our collective ability to meet together for worship as a community of faith. With regards to other ministry settings such as small groups, musical teams, bands, children's, youth and seniors programs, we are working with the Salvation Army on a national basis to determine how these might be coordinated under the traffic light system. We expect to have further updates on these over the coming weeks. So, before we explain where things have landed for HCSA Sunday worship meetings, we thought that it would be helpful to provide a brief outline of the COVID protection framework. So, here goes.
The traffic light system has three categories to manage COVID-19 in community, which are classified as green, orange and red. And it's the government which determines these classifications in each area or region of the country. As of November the 29th, 2021, the following information has been provided to determine the criteria for each category, though it is recognised that these are subject to change at any time. The green light category is representative of when COVID-19 is being picked up in sporadic cases across New Zealand. Community transmission is limited and COVID-19 hospitalisations are deemed at a manageable level. In terms of personal responsibilities under this category, a recording of people's travel, like the QR code system, which we've already been using for some time, will still be enforced, and mask wearing for indoor gatherings will be encouraged, but not mandated. For group gatherings or events, there are no limits placed on the numbers of people who can attend, providing that vaccination passports or certificates are used in those settings. In other words, only people with certified vaccination documentation can take part in events of this nature. For group gatherings or events that are not utilising the vaccine passports or certificates, the maximum number of people under the green light category is 100 people. This applies to both indoor and outdoor events, and at all times a 1 metre spacing between people in those settings is required. Now, moving to the orange light category, this is representative of when there's COVID-19 community transmission, and at the same time a greater pressure is being placed on our health system to help those who have contracted the virus. Like the green light category, record keeping, such as the QR code system, will still be enforced, and mask wearing for indoor or outdoor gatherings will be encouraged, but not mandated. For group gatherings or events, there are no limits placed on the number of people who can attend, providing that vaccination passports or certificates are used in those settings. Again, only people with certified vaccination documentation can take part in events of this nature. For group gatherings or events that are not utilising vaccine passports or certificates, the maximum number of people under the orange light category is 50 people. This applies to both indoor and outdoor events, and at all times a 1 metre spacing between people in those settings is required.
And so we now come to the red category. At this level, this is where there is an outbreak of COVID-19 within communities and that the health system is facing unsustainable numbers of hospitalisations. Like the green and orange light categories, record keeping will still be enforced throughout, however mask wearing is mandated for public events. For group gatherings or events, a maximum of 100 people can attend, providing vaccine passports or certificates are used in those settings. A 1 metre spacing between people is required. For gatherings and events that are not utilising vaccine passports or certificates, the maximum number of people under the red category is 25. So that is a brief overview of the incoming system that has been outlined by the government. In terms of which colour the Waikato region will be operating under initially, we have been notified that as of December the 3rd, it will be classified as orange. Therefore, we will accordingly be planning our worship meetings with that information in mind. The government has also announced that this classification would be reviewed in 2 weeks' time. Now, due to the impact of this new system on church and ministry life, it was determined a few weeks ago that members of the HCSA, Pastoral Care Council and Mission Board would begin calling all those who are connected with our community of faith to see how everyone is doing and to get their thoughts about these upcoming developments. It was felt that by taking this opportunity to hear what people of HCSA had to say and were thinking about this matter would help to provide greater clarity in terms of a potential roadmap to take us forward. And so following that period of consultation, the HCSA Mission Board met to prayerfully consider the pending traffic light system in terms of how it might work within our corporate worship settings, while at the same time ensuring unity within the body.
So as a unified team, it was determined that at any level of the traffic light system, what HCSA is ultimately attempting to achieve as a church is to be a thriving faith community advancing the mission of the Salvation Army. At the same time, we were also able to define our aspirations for our community of faith, which are as follows: that our decisions and actions come from a culture of love, that the kingdom of God is enhanced, that the vulnerable are supported and loved, that there is more openness to being led by the Holy Spirit, that we are for the whosoever, everyone is included and feels like they belong, that we need to be able to deliver our creed mission philosophy in its entirety, that we are stronger together after all is said and done, there is unity and respect, that our people will thrive and feel empowered to develop and use their giftings, that our people are energized, not burnt out, having a sustainable and fulfilling ministry life, and that we will take steady, incremental steps towards gathering again to mitigate disruption and change fatigue if a localised lockdown occurs. Having had the opportunity to unpack everyone's feedback, we were able to put together a summation of options for gathering together for worship under the traffic light system. The 3 most consistent answers were these. Number 1, having hubs or small groups meeting regularly. These would be a variety of groups, some utilising the vaccine passport system and some not. The second one was to have outdoor meetings, picnics, guitar in the park, tent meetings, with a similar setup to the small groups in variety, which would then determine the numbers that could meet for these types of gatherings. The third option was to have 2 gatherings at London Street, one big unlimited gathering of people adhering to the vaccine passport entry regulations, and a second smaller gathering not requiring the usage of vaccine passports. There was much interest from Mission Board in terms of the hubs and the small groups and the guitar in the park ideas. The ability to connect in smaller settings has many positive facets, especially in terms of fellowship and Bible study. The board agreed unanimously that this idea required further exploration. However, coordinating these to commence before the end of February 2022 would be incredibly challenging. Groupings of this nature require a lot from those who take responsibility for them. It was felt that due to the timing of the year that we're headed into, many of those within the core who would be considered for leadership of such settings just wouldn't be available until late February. So the Mission Board agreed that by late February 2022, it would work towards implementing a plan to see these smaller groups get started, providing that there hasn't been significant changes to the traffic light status at that time.
Pragmatically, the conversation of the board moved to exploring the third option, 2 gatherings at London Street, one big unlimited gathering of people adhering to the vaccine passport entry regulations, and a smaller second gathering not requiring the usage of vaccine passports. It was raised that each time HCSA has operated under Alert Level 2 and provided back-to-back worship meetings, Sunday attendance has varied between 135 to 185 people. Even though a number from HCSA have been choosing to stay home and engage with online church, a considerable number of our attendees have been coming to the hall for worship. This detail, along with the feedback that was provided by congregation members, has shown that it would be a disservice to refrain from meeting for worship on Sunday mornings at London Street. However, we also recognise that by moving forward with this option, it would mean that there would still be people who would not be able to attend due to health concerns, and those who are not vaccinated, they would also be affected as well. The Mission Board are committed to the principle of no person left behind as we move through these next few months. At the same time, though, we are balancing the very real need that all our leaders have some rest over the summer months. As you will appreciate, this has been a really taxing year for many. To that end, the Mission Board has made the decision as an interim measure for the next few months to go with option 3, at the same time as keeping online church going throughout for those who are housebound or choosing to meet in smaller groupings at home. The 2 meetings at London Street will commence as of Sunday, December the 5th. For the 10:30 a.m. meeting, under the terms of the COVID protection framework, only those who have their vaccination passport certificate will be able to attend or take part. This documentation will need to be cited by one of our welcome team before entry. If you still need to organise your certificate, you can download it by registering at mycovidrecord.health.nz. This also means that those who wish to attend this meeting will no longer need to pre-book a seat.
For the first 3 Sundays in December, and picking up again after Waitangi weekend, we will be offering a new evening meeting that is open to anyone and will be organised in a way that adheres to the gatherings where vaccine passports are not required. Our evening meetings will start at 6:30 p.m. They will be limited to 50 people in attendance, requiring online pre-booking via our website and social distancing of 1 metre apart. Both the morning and evening meetings will have kids' church from preschool and primary school age children. What you are probably unaware of is that the Mission Board had already committed to starting new and creative evening worship gatherings at London Street in 2022. So we're actually just bringing the plan forward and getting to dip our toes in this new way of worshipping before Christmas. These meetings are open to anyone, and we hope that they will provide a meaningful worship space for those who are unable or not wanting to attend under the vaccine passport system. Now let's talk about Christmas Day and Boxing Day. Please note that Christmas Day falls on a Saturday this year. Again, a pragmatic decision is that we will be meeting under the vaccine passport system that day. But to accommodate those who cannot attend on Christmas Day, we will host an unplugged and meditative Christmas Eve service this year, according to the restrictions for gatherings where the vaccine passports are not required. If you'd like to attend this, please make sure that you pre-book online. This meeting will take place at 6:30 p.m. on Christmas Eve. As we're hosting 2 services over the Christmas weekend, we've made the decision to cancel the Boxing Day Sunday services at London Street, so please make a note of that.
For the month of January through to Waitangi weekend, Sunday morning meetings will be cafe style and under the vaccine passport system. This will allow for a much-deserved break for our leaders and musicians. HCSA Online will continue throughout. Following Waitangi weekend, we will return to the morning and evening Sunday meetings as already outlined. We know that you understand that this is a very complex situation. Based on our understanding of the rules and feedback received from the congregation, the interim plan that we've just laid out was the best course of action to see us through the coming months. It is going to take for each of us to graft in and to do the best we can with who and what we have. And so we hope that you will choose to connect, be it online or in person. Our goal is to have these next few months of Advent Sundays be special times of reconnecting, be it on a Sunday morning, a Sunday evening, or informally in your homes around online services. We hope that you will take up the invitation to worship with us, the God of infinite hope, who sent his son Jesus into the world so that we might be reconciled to God and to one another. God bless.